This is We the People News. One more time at it, okay? Not an attorney, not giving legal advice. I may speak of my opinion, okay? Just like judges do. It's just my opinion. However, they're allowed to make up opinions to violate our rights. We cannot make up opinions to violate their rights. Oh, what? Oh, well, no. Wait a minute. Let's see. Does government have rights? No. Do they have constitutional rights? No. So, what rights do they have? All right, I digress.
You're under pressure, but experiment with a few key things like, municipal.
Speaking of which, go to her channel because I'm just showing part of it at the particular time. This is a year ago video, and she's got some updated things, but there's some key things I wanted to kind of show. All right. Uh-oh. Let's go back.
Hearing or ordinance violation. Start with that, and you're going to get a lot. If you search in your state statutes, no matter what state you're in, if you search for ordinance violation, wow, you're going to get a lot. But or none at all. It depends on how strict the confines are of the searching. But just do some searching and get comfortable and familiar with that. So I'm not going to go into detail about these, but I left these slides and these purple.
Yes. What have I said in the past, right? You're going to use the statutes against them. All right? You're gathering evidence. You're investigating them as well as they're investigating you. Okay? So you want to use the definition. You want to read it, define it, and get definitions. Okay? The person, when they speak of person, you want to know directly what definition are they using. Okay? Individual, person, commerce, business, trust, all that. It's talking about corporation. All right? They're forcing you into some form of corporation. All right? You're going to use that against them. According to the statute, that the definition of the person is a member of the corporation. Well, no, it's got individuals. It's of like kind. Okay? Mankind is one like kind. All right? Dogs, one like kind. Okay? Cats, one like kind. Person, one like kind. So they're saying it's a business trust, all that, that's one like kind. They're saying you're an entity. Okay? That you are not a man or woman. And we wonder why all these things are coming about children and all that nowadays. Right? It's because it's a person. Person's not boy or girl. It's masked. It's an illusion. Okay?
Ones are ones that I have left in from prior episodes that I thought you might be finding useful this week as well. So I left in here a starter point for if you live in Florida. These are state statutes that are specifically talking about local government. These are the chapters that I pulled from the full table of contents that are most relevant to local government in state statutes in Florida. And also I pulled the same for Michigan. Again, there's some that apply here and there in other parts of the state statutes, but these are the most prominent ones. And also I left in here the slides where we were talking about your constitutional grounds to legally fight back.
Yes.
Okay, so don't forget.
You're going to use the Constitution to see if it's married to the statute, if they coincide with one another. Okay? All right? So they want to use all these statutes, but it's got to be married with your Constitution.
About the Constitution, right? It's not just that we the people retain ultimate control and authority. No, it's other things like all political power is inherent in the people.
Right there, we're going to pause, right? We've talked about this before in other videos. I described men and women have natural rights given from God or an alien or whoever you are led to believe. And in fact, if you want to go so far as your government is your God, well, your government still gave you political powers. Can't make this shit up, people. But what is it? all political. We talked about that. So, in your documents, you want to be clear, okay? You want to have the correct standing, which is what most attorneys are not doing today. That's the reason why 90% of unconstitutional law is working, is because nobody of the attorney world is doing it in the right standing. So, all political powers are inherited in the people, okay? Inherited. It's our God given right from our people who fought and died for us, okay? We was inherited this when we was born within said Texas Republic or New Mexico Republic or United States America Republic, okay? It's been handed down to us, okay? But it clearly says the people, okay? Men have rights, all right? Now, we jump into one of the people for political instructions. We tell them what they can and cannot do, okay? That is our political power, all right? We'll find that out a little bit later on, all right? U.S. citizen, okay, is subject to what? Federal law. Subject. A person, 14th Amendment person. Subject. What's a subject? Okay, well, they define person as a corporation, right? So the corporation is subject to the government. So we got to really clearly read these words and understand what they're talking about. All right? Men and women have rights. All political powers is when we turn our men and womanhood into one of the people for political rights. Okay? To instruct them. We got to have some form of kingship. All right? For them to get the blessings from the people. Okay? From the free men and women. All right.
Or like in Florida, that we have the basic rights to enjoy and defend life and liberty and possess and.
Okay, we had the basic rights. Okay, now some people think about this in the basic thing. Well, the basic is minimum. Okay, all right. So just because I got basic rights of life, what is basic? Right. So, are you saying that some other man has a basic right to take my life away, but I have a basic right to keep my life? Well, no. We all are equal and we have just a direct life. Okay, liberty is the basic liberty. Well, liberty is just so broad and we got so many of liberties that it cannot be defined in one category like this. All right, with all the liberties we have, we cannot put this all into this one thing. That's the reason why it has the basic. We have more than one. Okay, and possess, protect property. Okay, we have a right. A right cannot be changed into a privilege. Supreme Court said so. Can't remember the case on that. But a right cannot be transformed into a privilege. So if we have a right to protect property and possess property, then they have zero rights to come in and take it without just compensation. Okay? Not free and not for property tax if we're not what? A business entity, a business person. They're making claims that your land, your private land, is some form of business because they either tricked us or they are ignorant of reading the tax codes themselves. But the tax codes is a business. Okay? So they're telling you you are a business. Again, masked. Okay? Sorry. Get a little passion, right? let's go a little bit more. Okay. But a right cannot be changed into a privilege. So if you have a right to own property, it cannot be infringed upon. Come on, people, think about this. If you have a right, it cannot be infringed upon.
Protect property. We have the right to peaceably assemble, instruct our representatives, and petition the government for redress of grievances.
We're going to stop there again, right? Because a lot of times this is not clarified. Okay? We have a right to petition. Okay? Petition and regress our grievance, right? But a petition has got to be in writing to our representative. Okay? What we are doing is we're taking our representative in our private court. It's kind of like you city council, right? And you guys once a month go to a meeting open to the public and all that, right? Well, it's the same thing, but you petition for that meeting and do degress in writing. Why? Because once it is said and done with, let's see, it says representatives with an S. Representatives. Okay? Not just a representative, but representatives. So, because knowing my of course I'm going to do this on film, right? My representative is only one man or woman. Obviously, all the other ones can override what? Mine. Okay? Well, but they passed a law that is unconstitutional. So I need to do a petition in writing, take to them to private court to redress my grievance. Now, that does not mean judge. Okay, judge has no authority in this. That's a private contract. It's our private business of our inheritance and our political power to redress our grievance. It's our private court. We don't go to the judge. Now, later in life, we may have to because they may not change the law or anything like that. Okay? So we may have to do that because, well, face it, our government officials and the judges are ignorant of the law they created. Oh, you can't make this shit up now, can you? All right. But it does not mean, let me extend this out too as well. Does not mean you can just go out and protest. That's not a petition. All right? We can assemble. Well, assembling, I get 20 men and women to come together on that petition for the regress of our grievance. When they did this Black Lives Matter protest, they did it incorrectly. Now, I'm not saying that they shouldn't do certain things the way they did it, but what do we need to do? Stand together as one of the people, not a person. We need to petition in writing and go into our private court with them and redress our grievance on the paper. We're having court, and it has to be in writing. And we've been ignoring this. It's not on the record. Tell me how many times you're outside. By the way, just for people's safety, why do we want to stand out there in the streets and have little guns going boom, boom at us on the streets? Right? Isn't it safer, to be honest, that everybody got together and did this and actually held a private court instead of being on the street? Remember, they're not truly trained to be laws enforcement. They're truly trained to be security guards for the city. And they are policy enforcers, not constitutional enforcers, even though they signed a contract to we the people. But you are not we the people if you are a person. Okay? You can't. They do not coincide with one another. It has to be separated. Okay? But that's how you do it. Petition and redress our government. Then we take it to the legislatures. And you go into their little building, big building, and put it on forth on record, like she did. But it's not. That being said, y'all, let's take it a step further. A petition as well for your local deal. You can actually do a petition and redress your grievance in writing with a group of your people in your local towns. But you want to take them into court yourself, private court. You don't want to go to the judge, okay? This is none of their business. You don't want to go to the magistrate. They're bought and paid for clerks. All right? But we don't want to be in violence, okay? Now, it doesn't mean we can't use our First Amendment words and call them out, call them, piece of shit, blankety blank, 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 blank. Okay, don't mean you can't use your First Amendment. But, that being said, how far are you going to get? Okay? And then you had to turn around and actually file a civil rights claim. Okay.
This next one is a Florida-specific one, but there's similar ones in other state constitutions as well. Courts shall be, means they have to be, open to every person for redress of injury, and justice shall be administered without sale, denial, or delay.
Stop right there. Now, we're going to misimply this, y'all. Administered without sale. Right? The courts are not supposed to charge you. Well, you must file this, but it's going to cost you $100. You must file that, but it's going to cost you $100. Well, I need to do an appeal. Well, that's going to cost you $400. No. This particular state, right? Florida Constitution 121, okay, says not to sell. Okay? And then they can't charge you because they cannot deny you. Poor people cannot afford it, right? So therefore they cannot deny you because of poor people. Or delay. What does every single attorney do? You see a trial of lawsuits for 6 years because lawyers are creating delays with false paperwork. All right? And dare I say it, the two attorneys are making money while they're working. Aren't they, or are they not? Okay? This right here, you want to verify what they mean by the state constitution on that as a person. Which person are they talking about? Because remember, the old school, a person was really a totally different way. Me and you speak sometimes as, a person, just because of creature of habit. We don't anymore, right? We used to say men and women all the time, but oh, heaven forbid if we do that. It's so toxic, okay? But we need to see about this person deal, okay? But, and again, I do this just off the top of my head. I don't, have a cheat sheet. I never cheated in school, and I don't never cheat in life. All right? Unless I accidentally did so without my knowing. Okay? I'm always trying to be an honorable man and have clean hands, so therefore I can enter the kingdom of heaven. All right. And if it doesn't exist, guess what? It didn't hurt to be a good man. All right? Just saying. But they can't deny you with or without money. So they can't charge you. Now, when they charge somebody, okay, it's McDonald's suing Burger King. That's a privilege, okay? Court shall be open to every person for redress of any injuries, and justice must be administrative, without sell, or delay. Now, again, we have to check out that person part, right? Because, again, Walmart's a person, against McDonald's is a person. So, it's a privilege for them. And I'm led to believe it's talking about a totally different definition of person in this. Florida was 1845, so it was almost within that frame of the 14th Amendment. Okay? So you guys are going to have to do a little bit more research because I'm not up to date of which particular person they're talking about. But for argument's sake, it doesn't say that one of the people has to be charged, right? It's left blank. So that's also another thing, okay? If it's not in law and in writing, the courts must go on the people's behalf, okay? Because it has to be clearly defined to us, okay? So, in every single state that I'm aware of, especially Texas, okay, there is no law saying you have to register your private property. None. Zero law. But yet, everybody register it. Okay? Just saying. Right? You just get somebody to fill out a fucking affidavit and say, I sold the land and blah, blah, blah. All right? There's your title. Okay? But I'm led to believe when we use court, I will tell the courts that I register said property to keep any man or woman or all definition of persons and all people to claim, make a claim on my said property, and it's easier to have it for you here and on the record in the courts if need be. Right? That's the reason why. The intent wasn't just to make it a corporation. The intent was to keep it safe and secure. All right, so nobody can make claims. Well, what is your local officials doing, right? Your tax, they're making a claim. All right, too tall of a grass, they're making a claim on your property. Okay, well, they can't do it. All right, constitutionally speaking. Just saying. Why do you think courts do not say, hey, don't bring the Constitution in here? Well, we got to, because the statute must be in line with what? The Constitution. Has to be in line. I have to have the Constitution there to compare it to the statute. And if there's controversy in the statute and the Constitution, what's that judge must do? Go on the Constitution side. Why do you think they don't want the Constitution in that court? Why do you think that? Because the Constitution overrides the statute, codes, rules, and regulations. And if it's found unconstitutional, it's going to drop a lot of 90% of the laws because it was illegally done because it was unconstitutional. There you go. Problem solved, people. All right. This will be the People News. Bye, y'all.